You do not have to be present for every event that happens in your life and around your life. Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too, because you are consuming content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting, because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting the amazing lives that we are choosing. What I'm discussing in this video is you do not have to be present for every event that unfolds in your life. I think so many times we get caught up in the idea of if we don't have our eye on something, that somehow it's going to get out of our hands, or it'll go astray, or it'll be uncontrollable at some point because we didn't keep our eye on it. Kind of like, for an example, my daughter just started driving. Well, she's been driving for a while now, but she just started officially driving like a lot. And something that I noticed is that I have this little, tracker on her, and I can see the car move down the road when she's going in a certain direction. And I used to look at it all the time. Every time she'd leave the house, I'd make sure the little marker was going down the road and it wasn't stopped for a prolonged time, because I'm like, oh, that may have mean something happened. And I would always pay attention. Over time, I kind of forgot to check on it. I used to make sure I did, but I kind of just got comfortable because I think that's what naturally happens. But I was thinking about what was my thought process when I was watching that little car, that little object move down the road in the app. And my thought process was that somehow that if I'm looking at it or I'm watching it, that I'm still able to protect or change an outcome that's truly out of my hands anyway. It doesn't feel like it's out of my hands, but it's definitely out of my hands. And this is the truth of so many things that we deal with and we interact with in our lives. Not everything that goes on needs our opinion. I would say most things that happen don't need your opinion. Not everything people say is valid. Not everything they say has to have an impact on your life. Not every event that's unfolding, you need to step in and do something to change it or to redirect it or whatever you think you're going to do to it. Because some events are unfolding for really specific reasons. And because we do not have the insight on those reasons, sometimes we may be putting our hands in something that should be unfolding a certain way so that the outcome can be exactly what we want to head to anyway. I was thinking about my younger daughter. She missed an assignment recently. And, it's only going to be so long you're talking about this stuff because, children get big, life moves on. There gets to be a point in your life where you don't even think about K through 12. But at the moment, I was sitting there mulling over, like, why did you miss the assignment? Can you make it up? And all these things, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, she posted something during spring break. And I was like, well, you can't do that. It's spring break. And she was like, well, it was Sunday night. And I was like, it's still spring break. So I was like, okay, now I got to send an email and ask for, a makeup and all this sort of stuff. And as this process was going, I kept thinking of so many other reasons why she should be able to make up the assignment. I was like, first of all, she's a straight A student. Second of all, she never turns in work late ever. And then, third of all, you can't send out things on spring break because that's just not the way children work, or it's not the way the education system works. You have a schedule for a reason. And also, if it's still in the same quarter, the grades haven't been put in yet, so she should be able to upload the assignment. And I'm wondering, like, why would somebody block her? What would be the benefit of that for this teacher? But some people just want to do things. So nonetheless, I was like thinking about writing this message. And then every time I thought about something new, I was like, should I send that? But I'd already sent the message. And then I had to back myself up and was like, stop being overbearing. You already stated what you wanted, to discuss. You already stated that you were willing to discuss it. And now you just have to remain open for the feedback or how it's going to be worked out at the end of the day. And because it took so many days, it was like, I don't know if she didn't check her email. It was taking days. And then I had to copy other people on it. But a part of me wanted to jump in so many times and try to force this situation or push it along or try to manipulated in a way that worked in my favor because I saw all the openings and ways in which that it could work out. But what really I didn't really focus on was that 9 times out of 10, this situation is going to work out exactly as it's supposed to. And it's not going to be because I sat there and threw myself into the mix, because I let myself get pushed and pulled by every message or every thought or every desire to reach out again and all this stuff. It's still going to get solved because the request has been put out there, and because it's an institution that operates this way, they have to answer it and have to figure it out. And sure enough, just when I forgot about it altogether, because I was just like, well, she's doing great anyway, but she's like, if she doesn't do this, the most she can get is a high B. And I'm like, that's rude, especially for a kid that's straight A's. And that this is not valid. So I had to pull up, student handbook stuff, faculty handbook stuff, nonsense. And, because when people do things, sometimes they have so many holes in it that it's so easy to counter it. And they know this, but they're just waiting to see if you're going to do it. And I was sitting there thinking like, what is the outcome of this going to be? But nonetheless, I just took it out of my head because I'm like, this is already solved. It's already done. She's already in the right. My daughter is. And it's just no use in having a conversation about it. So they can twiddle their thumbs as much as they want on the other end of it. By the end of this thing, these concrete words in these handbooks are what's going to, rule the day. And so I'm sitting there thinking like, that's done. And like, as soon as I put it out of my head, I get a message saying, oh, we're going to reconvene with the instructor on the next school day, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I was like, oh, I figured as much, right? And then so the next school day came and I haven't heard anything. So I was just like, is there something? No, there's absolutely nothing that I need to be doing, because we have to remember that not every single event, not every single idea or every single thought deserves our attention in our lives. This is like if you're scrolling through the feed, and if you go through any type of social media feeds, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, what else are people on? TikTok, I don't know how I forgot that one, YouTube, whatever it is. When you're scrolling through this stuff and you go down the feed and there's a story about everything you can think of, there's politics here. There's this president did this here. There's a war over here. There's, the school board's getting cuts over here. Then there's, police shooting or something in the next one. So it's like you can go down a feed, and if you allow yourself to be that open, every single thing that you run into down that feed is going to pull you in and have the ability to change your mood or to shift your day or like hijack your day just because you thought that event needed your attention. Some things just need to be scrolled by. Some things just need to be put on the back burner until further need, right? Some things do not require that much from us. And so when we look at this in our everyday lives and we think about some comments someone might make or some attitudes somebody might have, just let it ride. Let it ride and see what happens. I used to do this all the time with family and close friends and stuff like that. Sometimes people say things or they send you things and it's just like nonsense. And I'm like, I could respond to this. I could say how I really feel. I could share some information on it that debunks what they're trying to tell me. Or, hear me out, I can go about my day and make some amazing, delectable lunch for myself, have a really nice, low-calorie, tasty dessert, watch some TV show that I want to see, get a little bit of work done, and go and pick my daughters up from school and ask them about their day. Or I could sit there and waste an hour of my time pulling up research and sharing something with somebody that I know is specifically nonsense. Because if you think about it like this, changing somebody's mind or showing them that they're wrong about something or proving something to someone or telling them that you're right or all this stuff, it doesn't change anybody. It doesn't change anything. I was just having this conversation with my dad the other day, and I was like, yeah, so-and-so told me this, and we were talking about something, and he was like, oh, who did? And I was like, does it really matter? Because I'm not a family gossip. I don't like to be that person. And I was like, does it really matter? I said, because at the end of the day, their opinion doesn't matter to me, and mine doesn't matter to them, and it doesn't change anything in our lives. So we have to just remember that our energy is way too precious to be used and abused and pushed and pulled and brought into this scenario, brought into that scenario, reading awful comments and then dragged into people's mindsets there and thinking like, I can't believe people think like that. Who cares if they think like that? Let them think like that. That's their business. Everything that's occurring in your life, everything that's occurring around you does not deserve your attention. Recently, I got my daughter a little kitten. It's so cute, but she's been begging for a little kitten forever. And then like a couple of weeks ago, I decided, okay, you deserve one. And this little kitten is so cute because she wasn't a stray, so we adopted her, and she's like very mild-mannered, but she's a kitten, so she's nosy. And it's so funny because every single thing that happens in the house, she thinks that it deserves her attention. She runs from one place to the next, up the stairs, down the stairs. She can't even let anybody leave the room without her chasing behind them to go see what they're doing. And I was like, this cat is a busybody. And guess what else? She spends the next few hours sleeping. And she needs to sleep so much because she's so, her energy is being worn out every 5 seconds because she's giving it away so much. And some of us are wondering why we're so tired and lethargic. Well, we're not kittens. We got to do things in our lives. We have other things to do than to play with cat toys all day and, eat and sleep. We have to go do life. We have to go give ourselves to our environments. We have to show up for the people around us. So if we're all depleted all the time, always, getting our energy pulled back and forth, then we're going to be lethargic. We're always going to be exhausted. We're always going to feel like I'll do it tomorrow, or, I'm just too exhausted to do it today. And it's important things that's happening in our lives that we want to take care of, but we've given all of our attention and all of our focus to the nonsense and foolishness. So don't be like a little kitten. Everything that's happening does not deserve your attention. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.